I didn't have much of a topic till just right now. We're going to talk about diverticulitis. I don't think I've ever talked about it. Ever. Really, ever. And that was the thing. That was the last drop that broke the camel's toe, right? In the allostatic load. So I have to assume that people are just joining this video and they have no idea about the mind body space. So bear with me for people. They're like, oh fuck, here he goes with his spiel again. Right? I had diverticulitis probably in my lifespan, um, probably 8 times. And it started at the age of 29, right? This is when my allostatic loads were starting to fill up, right? Life stresses, right? And I'll quickly go over the list of life stresses that could have filled up your bucket, right? I call this the allostatic load. This is my allostatic load bucket. And throughout life, right, as we're a kid, teenage years, right, when we're older, we go through some shit, right? We use a coping mechanism so we can't be our authentic self. We can't express anger or, right, because we want to make life easier just to flow with it. Maybe you were dealing with some childhood trauma. Maybe your mom was a narcissist. Maybe your dad wasn't there or you weren't loved enough, right? Maybe there was some events that happened in your past that were traumatic, right? Maybe your dog died. Maybe your family, somebody in your family passed away. What else? There's high school. No, before high school, grade school. Maybe you were bullied when you were a kid, right? Through grade school. Um, there's so many things, right? Where's the list? I got the list. Let me quickly go over. Fuck, I just have to go over them with my memory. Memory! Use your memory, right? So then it could have been high school. Maybe you were bullied with, different, a lot of pressure to be in the cliques, right? To be liked, right? People now are dealing with social media. For me, it was, growing up, just a normal shit, high school, and then relationships, toxic relationships. Were you with a narcissist for 4 years, and then again with another one for 8 years, and then right, and then you had some symptoms come up, and then you take medications which put stress on the system, right? And that's drop by drop. You're adding more to the load, so right, the body starts to buffer, symptoms start to manifest. Something's got to give, right? And one of those things along the way. This is before I had my perfect storm. This is the precursor to the perfect storm. This is where you have these alarms popping up, but we don't know what they are, so we ignore them. Right? It's trying to keep you safe in the danger. And it's by warning you. Going, hey, dude, you got to make some changes or this is not going to be good. Right? So, right, I had all kinds of teeth problems. Right, I was in the middle of a toxic relationship around this time when I had my first diverticulitis flare. I remember going to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Hey, you're way too young to have diverticulitis." I was 28. I was like, "Whatever, cool. What now? What do you do? You just give me some medication, right?" "Yeah, we'll just give you antibiotics, and then you're on your way." "Okay, whatever." Like I didn't fucking care. I was in constant survival, but I was also very indifferent. I was a bit of a little bit of a I thought I was untouchable. When you're young, you think you can do everything, and you can. Like nothing can hurt you, right? That's how I was. I was unstoppable. I didn't care. I'd be like, yeah, I'm doing that. I don't care. I'm not scared of nothing. Right? I used to take antibiotics and just, right, if I saw antibiotics that were left over from whatever, I didn't play by the rules. I'm like, I think I got a flare again. Fuck it, let's pop those. Yep, I think it's whatever, right? I'm like, I'm getting some relief. Oh, I got a tooth pain. I think I got some antibiotics kicking around here. These things that they gave me. I didn't know they were antibiotics. I was just like, that worked really well last time, right? So anyway, getting diverticulitis at 28. I was in a toxic relationship. We were together for like around then 4 times, I'm sorry, 4 years. Um, we hated each other really, but we just lived with each other, and it was too hard to move on because it just meant that you had to open up shit, right? You have to open up having to face moving on, and with the insecurities, you don't want them to move on with somebody else because we can't deal with that. We're not strong enough. So, so you can kind of see it was a trigger that's got me my first flare throughout my life, right? I've had a bunch of stressful events that happened. Plus, you freak out about your symptoms. You take medications. It stresses out the body. Your allostatic loads fills up, right? And it affects your nervous system. You put yourself in a survival state over time, right? I was in that relationship for 8 years. The relationship, let's say 4 years. You're here. Symptoms start to matter. Here it is. Symptom threshold, where it starts to say hi, right? You got a couple weird things happening, right? Same thing with your allostatic load. Around here, symptoms start to manifest, right? And here's the list. Let me go over the list real quick because I want to make sure I paint the picture, right? So, so you're suppressing your emotions, right? You're adapting to survive. Trauma as a kid, divorced parents, school bullying, family passing, pets, drugs, smoking, alcoholic. I was an alcoholic, smoking. They went together like peas and carrots, smoking and drinking. Plus, I was in bands. I was constantly partying. People loved me. People thought I was hilarious. I had so many fucking friends. And before that, I was a shy guy, hanging out with one of my weird friends, and he was too shy, so that meant I couldn't make friends, and I was shy, right, for many years. So I wasn't being my authentic self as a kid, even. And then finally, alcohol came, and I could just be myself and not give a fuck. The crazier I was, the more people liked me. Can you believe that? That's the best. So, of course, because that happens, you keep drinking. It takes away the fear, and then you created a bad habit. So I became a hardcore drinker. I think hardcore for 10 years where I never missed a day of drinking. So I would at least during the week, in the weekday, I'd have at least 6 beers. Right? That's a lot of beer. If you think about it, some people are like, dude, that's not, no. It doesn't matter. We normalized it. It's not good. And you smoke. And plus you're in high school, you're partying, everybody has cigarettes, everybody's drinking. And I got to a point where I was such a binge drinker that I would plan my alcohol ahead by 3 days because I was worried, because I was becoming addicted to my alcohol. Like I needed it. I couldn't have fun without alcohol. I was becoming dependent. If I didn't have alcohol set up for tomorrow, I would start to panic. I'd get moody. Right? I think I missed one day of drinking during that 10 years. And that day, all I did is watch Homicide: Life on the Streets and eat food. And you know what? It was fucking amazing. I remember telling myself at that moment, and I remember this. This was when I was like 23. Fuck. I remember telling myself, man, I should do this more often. This feels so good. Right? It's so much easier on my body. I don't have to fucking pound all the drinks and worry about where I'm getting the alcohol and drink till 3 o'clock in the morning and wake up with a hangover and do it all over again. Oh, what a relief. I'm probably stressing my body doing this every day, never missing a day for 10 years. Fuck. I had my own puke bucket. My own puke bucket. My mom, she would try to keep it clean, but sometimes, she couldn't keep on top of my puke bucket. So I'd come home, right? After drinking, we'd go get a slice of pizza or something after the bar because it was $1.50 a drink. Back then, that was cheap, right? You get some pizza, you come home, and then you got to puke. And I was like, right? Puke all on the side of the fucking mattress, all the side of down on the bed. And then I would try to get up and try to aim for the fucking bucket. Most of the times I would get it, and it would fill up. And eventually I had puke sitting there for like a week, and it would ferment and stink the fucking room. Like it would smell like alcohol. And it'd have all the empties in my room. This is not good. Not good. You know what? I think I was being protected. I think God, my higher self, my guides were protecting the shit out of me. You know how many times I woke up on the side of the road? Because I was just, right? The bar would be here. I'd pass out. I'd just kind of sit down, lay down in the grass. I'm like, oh, look at the stars. Yeah, look at the pass out. I remember I had a couple that picked me up and they brought me home. I don't know. I blacked out, and I had a couple friends go, "Oh, look, Helmut's passed out." Yeah, right. We were all like that. We were all fucked up like that. That puts major stress on the system. I know we're supposed to talk about diverticulitis, but okay, but I couldn't. Just giving you an idea of how much stress I put on my system. A lot of stress, right? With smoking, that's like every time you smoke a cigarette, it's like a bomb going off in your nervous system, literally. Um, so toxic relationship, narcissists, of course, and just it doesn't have to be with a narcissist. It could just be you're growing apart. Sorry, I had a bunch of eggs. Now I get the burps. You're growing apart, and things are just getting a little nasty, right? It's time to move on because you guys are just bringing the worst out of each other. So there's that. So antibiotics, medications, work stress. I would say 100% of my jobs I ever had were stressful and shitty. Factory work, warehouse work, shipping type of work, working in a nursing home was shit, right? You get bullied. You got to play the game. You got to make friends with the right people. People throw you under the bus. A lot of politics involved at the workspace, union environment. It makes you sick. Right? Of course, along the way, you take medications, flu shots, COVID shots. Some people get Lyme, COVID, and you get infections. I had pneumonia. Some people are dealing with mold, supplements, probiotics, diets also put stress on the system. Surgeries, I think I had 3 or 2. 2, maybe, surgery. 2. One that was like 6 hours long. That's very invasive. Then you get to fear the symptoms, and then you go down the symptoms rabbit holes of the Facebook groups that are very toxic, and people want you to heal the gut and detox this and fix the mitochondria that, right? And the motherfucker gene bullshit people are falling for left and left. And they're like, well, unfortunately, I can't do anything because I am compromised with the motherfucker gene. So that belief puts them in a prison for the rest of their life. And if you tell them anything about it, they will block you so fast and laugh at you. They're laughing at you because they like being in the cage. Right? They think it's funny. They're pointing at you from the cage. Right? They don't want to believe it. So, with all this shit happening, and I was in the middle of a shitty relationship, I got a flare. And I took the antibiotics and went away. Whatever. The doctor said, yeah, like I said earlier, dude, you're 23. People that have this kind of stuff are in their 70s. And back then that was true. Nowadays, anybody gets diverticulitis. Right? I didn't get colitis probably 5 years later. So I started seeing the pattern. Flares, stressful weeks would happen, a fight, anger, right? Insecurity, flare, right? All the shit in my life decided to come and break the camel's toe, right? There's a camel's toe. It's fucking breaking it hard. We got busted camel toes everywhere, right? Right? Because the allostatic load, something's got to give, right? It's the great reset we got to do. It's got to be heard. You got to make changes. But I didn't. I managed with medications. And I would have flares here and there. And I would know, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm having that thing where you take medication, it goes away. Right here. Oh, you have a diverticulitis. Like sometimes I'd see other doctors because he would go on vacation. They'd be like, yeah, give me that thing that you gave me last time. Okay, yeah, sure, right? I didn't give a shit, right? And then later on, I managed it with carnivore diet. I managed it. But it wasn't the root cure. And then all of a sudden, years passed by. I had one perfect storm with 25 symptoms, right? I got back to life somehow. I don't know how I made it, right? I managed symptoms. I had ulcerative colitis, and I managed with medication. A couple years later passed by, and I had my perfect storm number two, which was started from diverticulitis surgery, right? I had a flare. All the shit in my past decided to get me that day. It might have been a little bit stressful at work or something, and it was that tipping point. It was that last drop. Diverticulitis flare, and it is one of those things where I took the medication, it wasn't going away. Okay, when I went through this, I didn't really know it was diverticulitis. I thought I had a kidney stone, so I was confused. Doctors are also a little bit confused. They're telling me you might have a kidney stone. So I was looking for this magic kidney stone. They thought it might have been diverticulitis, right? And I was looking for this unicorn kidney stone that was never there. It was just mind body muscle tension, mimicking kidney stone because I had testicle pain. And then I started having bladder pain because of trigger alert. Check out line. This is when they knew it was diverticulitis and to go do a CT scan. When all of a sudden my bladder started to hurt, and then when I peed, I would have like chunks of bladder in there, right? Like skin inflammation in my pee, and it would burn, and it was stabbing pains. And I was like, dude, they would make me do pee tests. And they're like, everything looks fine. I'm like, dude, have you seen my pee? There's chunks of fucking flesh in it. Right? They're like, yeah, but the tests show, right? They didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. So they finally, after me going to the hospital, I used to go to the hospital 3 times a week after I found the mind body and there was nothing wrong with me. But this time there was something wrong with me, and I was trying. This is probably one of the reasons why I used to go 3 times a week after the fact, because they missed something with me. And I would go there and go, dude, there's something wrong with me. I don't know what the fuck. There's pain. It's painful. Then they finally did a CT scan. Right? And they go, yep. Yeah, you got something down there. Probably you need emergency surgery. I'm like, what? Can I just take meds or something? What do you mean? Why do I need? It's affecting your bladder now. So there's a lot of inflammation. Right, and it's bulging into your bladder, which is causing more inflammation. So your bladder's starting to hurt. We can put you on medications to kind of help with that, but what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to take a piece of your colon and take it out because you got diverticulosis that got infected. Right, we don't think it's seeds. We used to think it was seeds. It's not seeds. For some reason, people get diverticulosis, and they can get infected. And when it gets infected, right, we usually take antibiotics. But sometimes you need to have emergency surgery. The thing is, I was dealing with this diverticulitis flare on and off for like, I would say 4 months. And it was getting bad. Weird shit. Like I was fucking sweating cold sweats and fucking crazy stabbing pains. I was shitting like this. Right? I was massaging my fucking gut. And I was like, oh my God. Right? That could have I think I was protected. I was definitely protected. That could have got really fucking dangerous. So then I go to the hospital. They see me. They're like, okay, do you want to have emergency surgery? Or do you want to have an elective surgery? You can come back in 2 weeks. I'm like, I can't come back in 2 weeks. I got to get this done now. He's like, do you think you have a trigger alert, people? Do you think you have a fistula? I'm like, do I think? Like, he was talking to me like I was a doctor. I'm like, you do your shit. I don't fucking know. I'm here. Help me. Fuck. He's like, do you think it's a fistula? I'm like, what the fuck's a fistula? He's like, okay, when you pee, does it smell like poop? I'm like, why would it smell like poop? Because when the colon pushes against the bladder, trigger alert. If you're not supposed to watch this, don't watch it, please. I don't want you looping on this. You don't have what I have. Because this is your fault if you keep watching. Okay, so when the bladder gets pushed by the colon, right? It's pushing because of the inflammation. Sometimes that wall it'll push and then it'll create a hole through the one wall to the other wall and they connect. So you could be shitting shit through the wall that comes out to your bladder. Something like that, right? I'm like, are you fucking serious? He's like, so you don't have that, I'm guessing. No, I fucking hope not. Right? I'm like, does that happen? He's like, well, the guy over there had that. I'm like, no. Shit. So I'm like, no, just get this done. So the thing is, I had more trauma being in the hospital because I had a guy beside me that was in a car accident. He was all smushed up. I had like 7 people in my room. I had a guy across I could see him. He just got out of surgery. And they're having problems waking him up. And he died that day. And they were calling him. They're like, okay, you got to wake up. Wake up. And he was like, right? And I was so fucking sad for the guy because he's in there. I could hear him. And I remember the doctor going, I don't think he's going to make it. And the nurse going, no? He's like, yeah, I don't think he's going to make it. And he walked out like fucking like nothing. Like he just had a fucking egg salad sandwich and it kind of tasted shitty, but it was no big deal. I'm like, dude, fucking do the Heimlich on him or something. Brutal. So anyway, there's that guy. He passed away. And the guy beside him, he had to get by the way, trigger alert. He dealt with some sort of surgery had to get done here. And he told me, he's like, I had cancer before. And they're going to they have to do a CT scan of my face here, but they can't get into a vein, so they have to do an X-ray on my face to get the tap it in because my veins are gone. My veins are all gone because I cannot, because the chemotherapy destroyed my veins. I'm like, holy fuck! So I'm here. I'm getting ready to do fucking surgery. I'm giving blankets to everybody. There was an old man who had a foot surgery, but he had an infection, so he started going delirious. Then this is the scariest guy. This is the scariest. If you think that's kind of scary, the scariest guy was right beside me. He had the fistula. I was next to a guy that was constantly in misery, fucking crying for God to take his life. Right? And I can't sleep. There's beeping sounds and clicking and doctor, his lifeline wines. We need a crash cut over here. We fucking sorry, Helmut. We need to. Well, Helmut, we gotta check your blah, 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 right? And throughout the night, 2:00 in the morning. Sorry, we gotta wake up. We gotta make sure you get your fucking. Make sure you take your medication. Make sure you're fucking. Right? And then you got this guy going, oh, please, oh, I can't. I just need some water. You cannot have any water, sir. Right? And then they'd have these nurse students that are supposed to watch them. Like, okay, pause on that guy. The guy across, the old man, he was strapped down because he kept leaving, because he kept seeing, he was going delirious. He was, what do you call it when you see fucking things that aren't really happening, right? He was going, it's like he was reliving memories. He didn't have Alzheimer's. So he'd be like, hey, where are you? What are you doing here? Hey, come on in. Yeah, let's hang out. And then they're like, dude, every time he left, these alarms would start going off. Right? So I'd be like, oh, fuck, I'm trying to sleep. Fuck, I'm trying to sleep. Right? So they finally strapped him down and he'd be screaming and yelling and they try to calm him down. I'm like, okay, so I got this guy crying to fucking have God take him, begging to have a little bit of water, but he's not allowed to have water. He's only allowed to have a little bit of chunks of ice. And then the students, I'd hear them, they'd be like, yo, man, check this out. Right? Apparently, when he was covered with bandages, but if you lift it, it's like he had big open wounds that they were just checking on him as they were going. They weren't fully closing him right away because they just wanted to make sure everything was healing. So he's constantly on antibiotics. He had a feeding tube through his nose, right? And not only that, but the people that are cleaning everybody up, right? They're emptying his shit, right? So there's like bags of poop that they're emptying into the toilet, right? And through my journey in the beginning, I was able to use the toilet, but after I have this pee bag that I could see my pee bag. They had to empty that, and I couldn't use that toilet when I was able to shit because it was like fucking disgusting. So, and then, right, with all this going on, right, right, with all this going on, you got to get ready and psych yourself up for surgery. I'm fucking deathly afraid of surgery. Normally, diverticulitis surgery is not a big deal, right? But if you're, it is, but it isn't. If I was like now recalibrated, no symptoms, allostatic loads are somewhat full, I wouldn't get diverticulitis. But let's say I did, and if I did the surgery, it'd be like, yeah, okay, no problem. Yeah, okay, see you later, doctor. You get it done, no big deal. You go home and heal. You go back to work in a couple weeks. That wasn't the case for me, right? I go in there. I'm prepared to do this. I'm psyching myself. I'm like, all right, I did all the cleansing of the poop. It's all gone. I had to drink some shit. I had a couple anxiety attacks, right? And then they would go, oh, I'm sorry, it's gonna be canceled. We had to have a child was in an accident. We had to. I'm like, no, that's okay. That's fine, right? So I'm like, okay, when is it next? Tomorrow. We don't know when. All right, I'll try to be ready mentally. Okay, right? So I try to be ready. Sorry, we're gonna have to cancel it again. Oh fuck. We're here another night. Okay, one more day. I want to get this done, right? And then, you know, when it happened, it was at the worst time. I'm like, finally, it's quiet around here. So I passed out. I'm sleeping. 3 hours later, no, I think it was like 2 hours later. Don't matter. They wake me up in a deep sleep. They're like, all right, let's go surgery. So I'm like, what the fuck? Where am I? What's my name? What's going on here? Oh, I'm in a hospital. Oh, I gotta go fucking surgery now, right? And then they haul me in there. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to go in. I see all the lights. They're all prepping everything, right? My heart's going. They're like, sir, you're gonna have to calm down, right? We can hear your heart. And it was like in speakers going. I was like, holy fuck, right? They're getting all prepped. They're like, they put music on. They're like getting all excited. They're like dancing, right? They're moving these little carts around, ready to fucking dig in. So they do the surgery, whatever. I'm out. The next thing I can remember, if you're getting diverticulitis surgery, don't watch this. I'm fine. I'm healthy, right? My situation is unique because I was in a state of fight or flight. My nervous system was already on edge, right? So everything was survival for me, right? Another person, like my dad, if he did that, it'd be like he would look forward to the hospital food, right? For me, I woke up from surgery, and I just saw this nurse. Everything in the room was dark, and I just saw this nurse's face. She was the only, right? And I'm like freaking out, going, ah! Right? And I was screaming, and she's like, "Sir, you have to calm down. Sir, you gotta." I'm like, I got so much pain. What's going on? I didn't know what was going on. I felt like I just woke up in a alien ship. You ever seen the movie Fire in the Sky? That's what I felt like. Like I woke up in an alien ship. I'm looking around, freaking out, right? But it's not like that. But I felt like that, right? And then she said, here's your morphine. Click the button. So I'm like, she's like, no, don't click it so much. And after I found that, they told me I wasn't on morphine. I was on a different thing that's 25 times stronger than morphine. Anyway, so I get into my room, and now it's time to heal, right? I'm a little fucked up about the whole experience, but I'm glad that it's over. And I didn't want to take the morphine. I was willing to deal with the pain. I had the same thing when I had other surgeries before. I just, fuck it. I don't want to take these medications. I don't like medications. Unless it's antibiotics, then I'll eat them like candy, right? So then they had to have a doctor come talk to me. He's like, listen, if you're in pain, we have things to help you with that. Take the stuff. You just click it and there you go. I'm like, nah, I don't want to be addicted to it. I don't want to. It's like, yeah, but you got to think about the pros and cons here. Helmut, you just been in an invasive surgery, 5-6 hours, right? Everything went well. I'm like, that's all I care about. I can deal with pain. After the aftermath of pain and knowing you'll be fine, I don't care. Give me the pain. I'll be fine. I don't need to fucking mask the. I need the pain. I need to know where I'm at. The pain tells me if I stretch too long over here. Right, it's an indicator. So anyway, I get out of the hospital. I feel like fucking death. My face is green and gray. My mom was worried. She thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna die. My wife, she pretended everything was cool. She told me a couple years later she thought I was literally gonna die that day. So then, this is when my perfect storm started to brew, right? And I needed it. It was given to me as a gift. I needed it. So a couple of days, I'm going through the motions of healing. I'm eating soup. I'm taking it easy. I kind of liked it, right? I kept eating my wife's Christmas cookies. She had fucking a ton of them. Orange juice with fucking soups out the ass. Now, this is great. All I had to do was lay around and watch TV, and I won't get in shit. I won't look like I'm lazy or nothing. People want me to. This is great. I don't have to go to work. People are telling me, "Hey, I hope you're okay. Get some rest." Okay, I will. Yeah. Right? But it started brewing. It started bubbling up. Right? And I thought, well, you know what? I think this was the cherry on the camel's toe that really broke everything out. And it was like this little cherry that went, right? I said, well, since I was heavy duty on these antibiotics, since I did all this surgery on my gut, I'm sure my biome's fucked, right? So you hear the stories. People say, yeah, and you might want to take an antibiotic. So I thought, you know what I do? I'm going to get the best probiotic. The one at the grocery store is not enough, right? And I looked at this one in the States. I had it shipped over in an ice box. It didn't have just billions. It had billions and billions and billions and billions of bacteria. It was like the most intense probiotic, of course, I had to get. Plus, I had another probiotic that was shipped to me and homemade. And I mixed them together because I wanted to bomb it with, I need fucking bacteria, right? And then I did that. I started farting all the time. It was like a bomb went off. I'm like, shit, man, I don't know about this. Like, I made it and I drank it. It tasted amazing. And it felt like a bomb went off in my gut. Literally. And then I started having, within a couple of days, I could eat no foods. This is when my journey started to begin. All the symptoms came: mast cell activation syndrome, multiple chemical sensitivity, plus 75 symptoms. Right? This is when the shitstorm started. Right? And this is when I started being in limbo land for 3 months, which is actually short. Some people, they were limbo land for, but the thing is, don't forget, I was also dealing with mind, body, health shit for 10 years before this. So this wasn't, I've been trying to fix shit for a long time. But this is what I needed. I needed to fall fucking hard and have no answers. I couldn't carnivore it away. I couldn't fast it away. Nothing was cutting it anymore. I was in limbo land. The more I tried to fix it, the more I tried things, the worse it got. It needed to happen. No answers. So it forced me to look within to find the answers. And then I got lucky and I started brain retraining. It wasn't the answer, but it was a good stepping stone into the mind-body space. 3 years later, 4 years later, 5 years later, I don't know how long now, and then here I am. Right? But from my experience, in my opinion, in my belief, I'm not a professional doctor or nothing. I'm not medical, nothing. Right? If you have an issue, always go see your doctor. If I had a crazy flare-up of diverticulitis, I'd get the surgery again. I will only see the doctors if it's an emergency situation, of course. But my goal, this is what I learned, is to never put myself in a situation where I need to have emergency situations or procedures ever to have them, that I'll never need them, right? I'll never want to be put in a situation where I'll ever need them. Or I'll never want to be put in a situation where I need to manage with medications, right? So eventually, I got off my ulcerative colitis meds. I got off of all medications. And plus, during this perfect storm, I couldn't take supplements. I couldn't take anything. I was so sensitive. So I was forced to go naked into this healing space. But I truly believe, but this is something that you can prevent, right? Yeah, sometimes life throws us curveballs and it's really difficult to to block shit like that. But if as long as we keep doing the work as it turns into a lifestyle, we can try to keep our allostatic load somewhat at a decent level. So when shit does hit the fan, or I like to say, so when fan likes to hit this shit, we can move with it like a cork in water and not be stuck and have it turn into chronic illness that haunts us for life and paralyzes us, right? That's the goal. And this is where I think all gut issues are related to your allostatic loads being full because you're buffering. Something's got to give. Body keeps the score, right? The alarm system's at 1,000, not at standby where everything's rest and digest. So alarms are screaming at you. Symptoms are popping, right? You're in a state of survival. Of course, things are going to be a nightmare. You're going to be sick. You're going to have illnesses, autoimmune, you name it, whatever it is. This is it. This is the reason. So it took me 3 years to bring that back down to standby and to be free of symptoms and to have my life back. But I feel like I was protected because, fucking 47 years, I think I've been protected throughout my life. And I'm sure a bunch of you have too. I'm sure you guys have crazier stories than me, where you think back and go, something was trying to protect me. It was trying to protect me so that I can learn, because all these things aren't just there to make you, to destroy you. They're there for you to learn something. And if you absorb something and learn something while being protected, that's the ultimate. But we don't know that we're being protected. We don't really know. That's the crazy thing about this 3D reality, this experience, this movie that we apparently wrote before we came here, right? We have a purpose. And my purpose, I guess, is to do this and help people with Sam, bring awareness to the mind-body space so that you can be a person that can use these tools for the rest of your life. So these symptoms are here to bring the awakening to us. So we wake up, learn, sit in the trenches, second by second, no pause button, but learn these methods so that you can take care of yourself for the rest of your life and become your own guide. Become your own guide. That's, I think, at the end of the day, what we want. You got to be able to take the bull by the horns, be your own guide. Right? And take action and use this for the rest of your life because you're going to need it. We're getting more curveballs, I'm sure. Lots of curveballs. But now we got the tools. Right? That's what we want. So that's my diverticulitis story. And I really believe all the gut issues, SIBO, I don't even believe in SIBO, but leaky gut, I don't even believe in leaky gut. Whatever storm you have in your gut, where you're having food sensitivities, shitting weird, pain, stabbing pains, gas pain, stinky farts, it's all mind body. It's because you got to empty those allostatic loads, right? We got to start allowing and feeling those emotions, that energy, let it dissolve, bring that survival state down, turn off the alarms. In that storm that's down there, we'll see sunny days. All right, let's do some shout outs, some highs. Hola, Helmut. Oh, right. Charlie. I wanted to have him here, but he was sleeping. Shit, I almost want to go live again later just to show you guys. Lo kilo. That bot's supposed to be in that place. I don't know. I can't look away. It's like a car wreck. Oh, fucking right. Oh my God. Christina Martins. Oh my God. I twisted my foot at work and my manager said, see what happens when you're running around like a madman. I was so stressed out at work. Yeah, man. It's 2 days later, my hip went out. Oh, I think your work is stressing you out. Maybe you work with a bunch of fucking assholes. Yeah, maybe you are overworking, but maybe it's a combination. You're overworking, right? That's a huge thing. But also, you might be in a room full of ligers, right? Yes, hallucinations. He was having hallucinations. Thank you. Pigeonon. Pagionon. I probably fucked that up really. Yeah. That's a movie to rewatch. Fire in the Sky, adding to the list. Yeah, if you're going through this mind body thing, maybe it's not a good idea because you might get activated. Not in a good way. Damn, I'm late. Hi from Saudi. I'll watch about your perfect storm when it's finished. Cool. Hi, all new here. Oh, welcome, Kelly. Kelly's dances. Cool. Nice. Hey. Hey from the Cookie Monster. I seem to get rid of one of my symptoms and another appears. That's what they call in the TMS world symptom imperative. You're not out of the woods yet, so it still has to find another symptom to take that other symptom's place to get your attention because there are alarms, right? My new one feels like my eyes keep getting spasms. Or that they will have lag. Very scary, these symptoms are. I used to think that my eye is cramping and that my eye was going to go like this. And then it would stay like that, right? That's what I used to think, but it's not happening. That's not happening. But it feels like it, but it's not happening. Okay, 8 p.m., 34 degrees Celsius, 92 Fahrenheit, feels like 40. Okay, a little bit of relief. It's still fucking hot, though. But, yeah. This shit just take Sheena time. Thank you, Sheena. You are correct. I am not a doctor at all. So, from my experience, I didn't want to take anxiety meds. I just wanted to, because first of all, I couldn't even take fucking magnesium, and I'm happy I didn't. Right? Because I went in naked, and because sometimes it can complicate things, right? So I don't really talk about it too much. Sam does more, but this is what I think about anxiety meds. So you can interpret that the way you want. G. Marshall, yes. Hi, Kelly. Welcome to the Nut House because we have Charlie, the squirrel. That is so true. Yes, Sheena, start watching all the videos, all the lives, all the Sam's videos, and the Tea in the Trenches. There's so much stuff. You're gonna be a fucking expert by the time you watch all those videos. 700 of them. If you watch every one of them, you're gonna be the best of the best, even better than anybody, better than me. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. Only one symptom, Omar. Come on. I mean, the symptom is not changing for years. Invite the light. You had a question. I forget what it was. It was something about your thoughts. Okay, next time I go live, bring the question because I'm going to wrap it up. We'll get to it. We had we had a Karen in the comment section. We get that sometimes. Sometimes we get these angry Karens in the comment sections that get so angry because they get so much rage inside of them they need to let out. And some of them get so fucking brutally triggered and jealous by Sam. I don't know. Like Sam's, she's busting her ass trying to fucking get this content out for free to help as many people as possible. Like she's a beast, like a literal beast. And then sometimes you get these people that get so brutally fucking angry and jealous that they follow her from one channel to another channel and follow her wherever she is on Instagram just to shit on her because they're so fucking angry and jealous. I like to say jealous because that triggers people because they get angry when I say jealous. She probably was jealous because they don't like seeing her helping people. I don't know. And I think, well, Sam, like she mentions, it's stored rage that needs to come out. So they're in a fight, right? They're fight or flight. They're doing the fight. So in a way, Sam's giving them the opportunity to feel that rage, but they need to be aware of it. Be aware of your fucking crippling rage and feel it. Let your jealousy towards Sam right? Be that be the carrier of you as an opportunity to feel that rage. Let that jealousy be the vehicle that you piggyback on to feel the rage. Does that make sense? I hope I said it the way I meant to say it. If not, I don't know. Yes. No, her name wasn't Karen. We she was acting like a Karen. We get lots of them here and there where they literally, you know what they do is they create fake accounts. There's a couple of gurus that are in the mind body space that just a couple of them that hate us, right? And what they do is they make these fake profiles and then they just talk shit all the time. Thing is, we're starting to grow now, and I'm so fucking busy. I'm not able to monitor the comments as like I used to, right? So shit's happening. I have no fucking idea. I don't know. But the cool thing is, when we get some of these negative comments of people that are just full of jealousy and rage and brutal jealousy, our community backs us up. It's fucking awesome, right? The thing is, if you don't agree with some of the shit we're saying, why are you here? Because of the brutal rage and jealousy. That's the only thing I could think of, right? Brutal rage that needs to come out in jealousy, or if it doesn't work, you know, if you're talking about, well, all these other people are saying this and you're saying that, well, then why aren't you go to those people? If it's working, why are you here? Because all those people probably not working, right? Okay, guys, I'm gonna wrap her up and call it a night and a day. Have a good one. Get out there and get uncomfortable.